What is going on, guys? Welcome back to King Fab and Off-Road. Today we are going to be tackling fixing this beadlock wheel, and not so much fixing the wheel itself, seeing what happened and installing a new wheel on this tire, or this tire on the new wheel, however you want to look at it. So that's what we're doing today. I'm going to dig into it and explain to you what happened. So long story short, these wheels and tires, well, this one specifically, doesn't have much time on it. It's got like 200 miles, which is just a few hours really for what I've done. Probably 50 hours I think on the machine total, so not much. These Turbo R's have they have like rock shields on the rear control arms, trailing arms, mind you, and then they have scrapers that go right here on your wheel. They bolt on the bottom of your knuckle and essentially are meant to keep rocks and debris out of your wheel and keep this from happening. It's hard to tell in the picture, but this is actually a two-piece wheel now, and from literally less than a mile of four-wheel drive rock slinging, I was doing a race on a very rocky road. It was flinging rocks from my front tires to my rear tires and shoving them in this back wheel, and it actually got stuck in that scraper for a short amount of time, so much so that it milled out this hole inside, and then the wheel itself broke and collapsed on itself. So I took those scrapers off to finish the rest of the race. Didn't have a problem after that. So if you guys have those scrapers on your machine, especially without those rock guards on those arms, make sure you get rid of those, or you're gonna get rocks stuck in your wheels, and you're gonna have this demise that I had with this wheel. So I'm gonna get it torn apart and show you guys kind of what happened and how it all is, and get this tire thrown on a new wheel. All right, guys, I wanted to make this somewhat of a how-to for all you guys with side-by-sides and stuff that do work like this yourself. You probably know that this, obviously, oh boy, heavier than I thought, is a beadlock wheel. So you have to take these bolts out, and then it comes off regularly like a regular wheel on the back. So I'm gonna actually break the back bead off and then take this ring off, and we'll get everything peeled off of there. So you guys can watch me do that, but it's as simple as taking these bolts all out, the ring comes off, and then you break the bead off the back. That's all you gotta do. Okay, so the current situation is this wheel, as you can see now, this is broke. This is a loose wheel. Normally when you use a tire machine or anything, the wheel is wide enough that you can push against the other side of the wheel to push the tire off. So my current situation is this won't come off because it's loose. The wheel is literally loose in itself. So I have it on a bucket right now, and I am literally breaking this bead down old school way because there's nothing to push against on the other side. So we're gonna get that broke off of here and hopefully get this tire off, and we'll just get it installed on the new one. Hopefully it's not messed up. We'll see. Okay, I don't know if you guys can tell by the distress in my face, but I have done a lot of tires in my day. I used to do it for a living, and I've taken many on and off on the trail, things like that. This is the first I've had a wheel stick to the bead so good that I can't beat it off, I can't pry it off, I can't do nothing. And you can't get any leverage because, well, half the wheel's not attached to the other half of the wheel. So I'm gonna have to resort to violence because it won't listen to me. We're gonna get the old D-weld after it, cut it to the bead, try and not hurt the tire, because these tires, as you all know, are not cheap, but that's what I gotta do to get it off of here. So I'm gonna get to cutting. Okay, violence was the answer. You guys saw it in the time lapse there. I couldn't work and hold that on live video, but I just cut a line in the wheel until it got right to the bead right here. And I just put a fine cut in it so I didn't cut into the tire. And then with it in the tire like that, you just hit right here where you cut with a hammer, and it split it evenly and released the pressure. So it folded in on itself. Now we got our tire out, or off of the wheel, and it's not hurt. So now we got to pry the inside out and we'll be done. And put this on the other wheel. This is what a System 3 beadlock is supposed to look like. This is the SB6. It's what I've had on my Razor since I swapped over to beadlocks. Overall, I cannot complain. I don't want this video to be about System 3 being a bad wheel, because as you just seen, I couldn't even get the tire off of that wheel and it was broken half. So you can't say the quality of this wheel is bad. I am a little bit on the wayside of how quick it milled through the center drum of this wheel. But I mean, forces of rocks getting stuck in places, it literally turned into a mill, and I mean a lathe, and just cut it right out. It's not System 3's fault. I love these wheels so far. They've been doing good, holding up good. So anyways, they come with some set bolts in it just to hold the ring. I'm gonna get that off, set the tire on, bolt it up, and then I'll go over kind of tightening these bolts up. There's the right way and there's the, you know, trail slash quick way to do it. I'm gonna do it the quick way and make sure everything's tight and show you my way of doing it. If you want to follow my direction, then go for it. If you don't, that's fine too. So stick with me here. We'll get it mounted up. You can see how that goes, and wrap up this video. Okay, I am doing something right now that most people don't have. I do have a tire machine. It's holding the wheel tight for me, and I have a tire that's already been mounted on the wheel. That makes a big difference, because this rim is the exact size it needs to be to mount to. Like this is a 15, for instance. This is 35, what are they? 35, 10 by 15. So this lip right here in the wheel sets down into a groove, and that centers it all the way around. So when you put your beadlock on, it's perfectly centered. Now, when you get some new wheels, or if you use, tires on these beadlocks, sometimes you'll get different thicknesses of beads, and sometimes it's harder than all get out to get that bead set down in here and this ring set down and actually tightened. So anyways, this one goes right in the groove. I'm gonna get my bolts started. It's already kind of been squished before, so should go pretty smoothly. And then we'll get to torquing them up. And also another cool tip, I don't know if all beadlocks are like this, but I notice here that System 3 they have multiple threaded holes. So you can actually, they have a hole in between this. So if you strip some bolts out on the one you're using, you can clock it and then start over again with new bolts. So that allows your beadlock to last a little bit longer if you happen to mess it up. So that's cool with these guys. So here comes the more critical part. Because I am in the shop and I have my torque wrench and everything's in front of me, I'm going to do it as the book says. I'm sorry if you can't hear, I got fans going. It's hotter than blue blazes in here. System 3 says using a 1/2 inch socket, torque all bolts to 15 pounds. I honestly put these on the middle setting of my 1/4 inch impact, so that's probably pretty close. I kind of have a feel for those guns because I use them every day. Most certainly make sure you have all of these threaded in and started. If you're going to go that route, know what you're doing. That sounds cliche, but if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. I'm going to torque each one of these to 15. If anything leaks or something, then you got to restart, check it all over. But we'll torque them all, put some air in it, and see how we did. As you notice, I made several passes around the wheel. I did it in a star pattern. That's to equally tighten, so that way it squeezes the bead at an equal rate. And as you do it, you know, you'll get your 15 pounds of torque, and as you make it back around, you'll find that you got to go a little bit more because that bead is squishing, therefore taking the stress off the bolts. You want to do that a few times so that way it squeezes equally and gets it tight. I'm going to put some air in this thing and see how we did. Take my valve core out so that way it takes the air better. Set the bead on the back. That's a good sound. We're at 10 pounds now. And 20. We'll leave 20 pounds in it. Let it seat well. And check for leaks. Then we will call this job done. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this little segment. I know it wasn't like a full install on the Beadlocks that you would normally see, nothing real fancy, but this shows what happens when, you know, something bad happens and you got to get a wheel off, and how to install your beadlock rings. So yeah, hopefully it was informational for you. If you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Please like, subscribe. It's helping. I'm almost to, I think I'm almost 650 on the subscribers, so it's getting up there. That's pretty cool. Appreciate you guys keeping up with me. I really want to keep building this thing, growing it, and eventually get to go do fun stuff and get sponsored and get merch out, things like that. That's kind of my ultimate dream, my goal, and be known for doing things like this and grow it bigger. So anyways, guys, thanks a bunch, and as always, I'll catch you next time.